We said, all right, we got to wait for the Pistons. The Pistons come, we absolutely shit the bed. And the great Karl-Anthony Towns dropped 6 points. That's how you're going to respond against probably a team that we're going to have to play in order to go to the finals. And as of right now, it doesn't seem like that we can beat them
I'm going to be
in a
honest,
playoff series.
I'm just going to say this. That Pistons game looks like the most dysfunctional Knicks game I think I've seen since, I would say, between the years of 2015 to 2020. Karl-Anthony Towns' Knicks lose by 31 in Detroit. 6 points, 6 turnovers, 1 rebound, minus 27, 4 shots.
4.
Are you fucking kidding?
4 shots.
Against the Pistons.
I think we deserve that game check.
The most important game on the whole entire calendar thus far. And you have 4 shots?
And that's what you do.
That is unacceptable. I'm going to just pull up his contract just to be sure. He's making 53. He'll be making 58 next year. And then a player option in 2027-28 for over $61 million. I'm sorry. I'm good. I'm not paying. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FTV podcast. I'm your host, Chris Agulik. Alongside my co-host, Dom Savino, we will be discussing the 2 weeks that were. New York sports is just a complete disaster. I don't have an intro for you. This is going to be an unfiltered, boisterous, loud episode. So bottom line is, let's just get right to it. Do me a favor. Take a seat.
Let's talk.
All right. Well, right off the top, a lot of people are probably wondering where was the episode last week. Well, we've been running into issues for the whole week last week. Dom was in Puerto Rico last Tuesday. He came back on Thursday, but we tried to do an episode on Tuesday. He was out of the country. The Wi-Fi wasn't working. I kind of expected it, so that happened. Then he came back Thursday afternoon. I got home from work at about 3:34. We did a whole episode, an hour and a half, and Dom's part just decided to never upload. And I emailed customer support. I tried to reach out to as many people as I could. And let's just put it this way, they were absolutely of no help. And so I'm just being honest. They were terrible.
They're awful.
They don't help in general, but I gave it a shot and it was a complete waste of my time. They didn't help me at all. I tried to figure it out on my own. There was no figuring it out. Dom's part just stood at 67% uploaded and never got to 100. And it's probably still sitting there as we speak. I haven't deleted it yet because I want this episode to be fully uploaded before I do anything. So as of right now, I'm looking at my screen and it's at 99% uploaded for right now. So we should be good to go. Dom finally got Google Chrome to work on his Mac. I've been using Google Chrome since we started this podcast because I have a Chromebook Plus. So it's been working for me, but we do apologize for not having an episode or frankly anything last week. I guess you could say we went on vacation for a week, but we really didn't. We were just trying to figure this out and it just wasn't happening. We gave a lot of passion last week. We'll try to do as much of that as we can here in this episode. Dom, I guess that leads me to ask, how was your last 2 weekends? Because people don't know how, it's been because of not having the episode uploaded. So go ahead.
Yeah, I went away 2 weeks ago, got back home last week. I went to Puerto Rico and it was actually incredible. I was very impressed. The beaches were amazing. The people are so nice, just like the culture and, going out and everything about it was just incredible. I went to Rincon, I went to Aguadilla, I went to Isabela and San Juan. And I'd probably say my favorite out of all of it was probably Isabela when it comes to the beaches. I think they're absolutely beautiful. And then we also went to El Yunque National Forest, which is just probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. When it just comes to how everything's so still and everything just feels so calm and just like the beauty of the nature and all the trees and all the waterfalls that you see and the hiking trails. It was really cool. I never experienced like a anything like that when it comes to like a national park or like a rainforest. So I highly recommend going to Puerto Rico if you ever did before.
I have. I have been, but it's been years. I really went when I was a kid. Went about 3, 4 times, so a handful of times. One time we went though, I think it was my dad and my brother both got sick, and they had to drink some, like, lemon salt water that obviously the hotel people recommended them to drink. They did start to feel better, so it was pretty miraculous, honestly. I give them a lot of credit that they knew what they were talking about. But the other times that I went, it was fantastic. I mean, Puerto Rico is a beautiful country. We always had a good time as a family, so haven't been there in a long time. Really went there when we were about, I would say, between the ages of like 8 to 13. I really went a handful. So, no, Puerto Rico's great. I'm not surprised you had a great time. For me, I just went out a couple of times, been watching a little bit of football, some basketball, waiting for the Mets and Yankees to do something. Not shocking that they haven't done a fucking thing. So, there's that. There's been some rumors just getting thrown around for both teams, but how much are we going to read into that? Not that much. We'll get into them further down the episode. But that was really my weekend. Not really much to say on it. Obviously, last week was just trying to figure out all of this crap, with the episode. But it looks like we're doing okay for now. So we're just going to get into it, and we're going to start with the NBA. So last week we are obviously dissecting kind of like each game, not too long, but we're not going to do that this time. How we're going to do it is we are going to give you their record since New Year's Eve, and it's not good. It's just not good. It's 2-7. I'm sorry, 2-5 in 7 games. 2-5. Lost to the Spurs on New Year's Eve, a game they definitely should have won. They just couldn't contain Julian Champagny, a New York or New Jersey native, wherever he's from. Then they came out flat against the Hawks, lost to them. Then they also lost to the Sixers, but that was a back-to-back, but they looked terrible. And then the big game that we're going to get into a little bit, we're going to dissect it a bit here, is the Pistons game. They got blown out, completely blown out, 121-90. That was a Monday night game, lost that. So there's your 4-game losing streak. Then finally they broke that losing streak, and they won the next game. That game was against the Clippers, 123-111. So they won that game. That was nice. And I'm just going to be honest, when we were doing the episode last Thursday, what I was trying to say was the Clippers just were missing wide open shots. I'm not going to say the Knicks had good defense. They didn't. Their defense is horrendous. The Clippers were just missing shots. That's really what was going on. So they won that game by 12. That's nice. But if the Clippers had just made 3 or 4 more threes, it would have been an overtime, or the Knicks just simply would have lost. Then you're going to go to Friday's game against the Suns. They lost that by 5. Again, just not getting enough from a select few players that Dom will get into in a bit here. But they lost that game in Phoenix. And then they won against the recently hot Portland Trailblazer team who had a 5-game winning streak. So that's something, but I don't really take much from beating the Portland Trailblazers personally. So 2-5 in their last 7 games. And honestly, win, lose, Dom, I'll let you go. But the last thing I'll say before you start is win, lose, they just don't look good.
No, they don't. And if anyone watches the Roommates podcast with Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson, they even said the same thing. Jalen Brunson was like, "We look god awful," and I'm glad he admitted it because someone on this team had to admit it, and I don't think it was going to be anyone else on this team. So I'm glad that he said that, showing some accountability. But it's been awful, like you said, win or lose, not good. Certain players just haven't stepped up. Um, I know that last month that OG was hurt, and I've been defending him this whole time, saying, two-way players in this league, it's very hard to do, being a top guy on the defensive side and the offensive side. But at this point, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, but this man is making about $212 million. Figure it out. figure it out. I know maybe it took him a little bit of time after he got hurt, but now he's back. He averaged 14 and a half points in December, which obviously is not a lot and not good. His worst month, but also he was injured for about half of it. So it's okay. At the same time, you still got to show out. There's some days where he's dropping, solid 25, and then there's some days where he's dropping like 10. And I'm sorry, we can't have those games. We can't have those 10-point games that he does. It feels like it's good game, bad game, good game, bad game, or just average, average, average. When you're the most expensive player on this team, this should not be happening. I'm sorry. Uh, I give it to you. You're one of the best defensive players in the league, but you really got to show out on offense. Jalen Brunson, I'm over this losing streak. He just hasn't been clutch. He, he's turning the ball over late in the game, not making the right read, bad shots. I know that we expect him to be clutch every game, but it's just not going to happen. He's not Superman, even though everyone in New York thinks he is.
Hmm.
And what do you expect from him on defense? Can you really expect anything at all? No. I think he's probably going to be in the minus almost every single time that he's playing a game, unless he has just a magnificent 40-point game or something where he's in the positive. But that's beside the fact. Josh Hart, he came back. It seems like we needed him a lot. And which I've been saying ever since the preseason, we need every single player. We need every single player in order for this to work. And it seems like when one guy goes out, everything goes to shit. Everything. If one bench player's out, one starter's out, we just fall apart.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a discipline thing. I don't know if that's a player thing, a scheme thing, a coach thing. It's something. It's definitely something, and it has to be fixed. I know that when Tyler Kolek was playing more because Deuce was out, we did look good, but our defense looked worse.
Mhm.
He's a great defender, and also Deuce is one of the best 3-point percentage players in the league as of right now, as of January 13th. So, I mean, hopefully he can continue that, and hopefully that he can continue of being on that track for his best year of his career. We'll see, but and I know that you're gonna want to get on Cat and also on Josh Hart, but you know, we wanted to see what we wanted to do against the Thunder in the play-in championship. That didn't happen. We had to play the Spurs. I know it was a tough game, that championship game, but I don't think any NBA Knicks fan was like, yeah, like we're gonna be okay. The Spurs they're a good team, but they're not a top dog in this league. So we said, all right, we got to wait for the Pistons. The Pistons come, we absolutely shit the bed, and the great Karl-Anthony Towns dropped 6 points. That's how you're going to respond against probably a team that we're going to have to play in order to go to the finals. And as of right now, it doesn't seem like that we can beat them
I'm gonna
in a,
be
in a
honest,
playoff
Tom.
series.
I'm just gonna say this: that Pistons game looks like the most dysfunctional Knicks game I think I've seen since, I would say, between the years of 2015 to 2020.
Yeah. And
I
then,
mean, that game was so dysfunctional. They looked so disorganized, and Mike Brown, he looked lost on the sidelines. I was like, "Does
Mhm.
this guy?" Now, I will say, I do believe Mike Brown is a good coach. I do. The problem that I have more recently, though, is that he waits way too long to call a timeout.
Yeah.
Now, I'll give Tibbs the credit. Tibbs ain't waiting that long. He's calling a timeout immediately. They're up by 15. It gets down to 10, maybe even 12. He's calling a timeout. Uh, Mike Brown, he waits until it gets down to like 5 and he's calling a timeout. That's too long.
That
You're
is
waiting way too long. And he was waiting way too long in the Pistons game to call a timeout, and it was getting me very, very annoyed.
what it seems like is because he's such a fast-paced coach that he thinks, all right, if they score a few times, we'll just push it more. We'll just push it more so they don't have enough time to adjust on defense. But It's not gonna make a difference if we're not making the shots.
Mm-mm.
So that's something to definitely look forward to. Like, well, look to when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to that. But when it comes to Mike Brown, are these players even believing in him still? Because over these past 2 weeks that we haven't done an episode, that he's just drawing plays, trying to talk to the guys, and everyone's looking over here, everyone's looking over here. People are all the way on the other side of the bench. That's definitely something to look at because that's we had great team chemistry in the beginning of the year, and it seems like it's slowly deteriorating. I don't know what that's about, but something's not right, and we got to get it fixed.
I agree. I agree. I will say one thing though. I just looked at New York basketball, great Twitter account that I follow. Love giving them shout outs. They do great work over there. I saw Josh Hart talking to the guys on the bench, and he put a nice smile on OG's face, which I hadn't seen in a bit. The thing is, though, and me and Dom said this before we started the episode off air. Josh Hart as a sixth man, Dom said it. Everyone needs a sixth man, but he can't be the guy where he's not playing and this team just doesn't look the same. It can't be one guy. Jalen Brunson's the captain. He can only lead as much as he can. Other guys do also have to be unofficial co-captains with Jalen Brunson, and Josh Hart is that kind of guy. But Dom, I said this to you before we started the episode. Really, the only guy, and you agreed with me, the only guy right now on this team, even including Diawara, Huck Porty, all these guys, the only guy that can go down and this team is still gelling and being successful is Gershon Yabusele. That's it. Because he don't do shit. He plays like 9, 10 minutes. His defense is terrible. I hate to say it. I'll say it again. Guy looks fat. Doesn't really move that quick. I'm not sure what that man's diet is, but it's got to get fixed. Go see a nutritionist, do something. And his shots aren't good. And all he does really is shoot threes. That's not what I saw when he was on the Sixers last year. He would take mid range shots. He'd try to drive to the hoop. No, he even was doing it with France. He was doing it with France in the international games.
Yep.
But here comes to the Knicks. I don't know if the new offensive game plan from Mike Brown is really messing him up. That's possible. But as Dom said, you're making millions of dollars. Figure it out. So the only guy that can go down right now for the Knicks and they can still be successful and be a cohesive unit and gel is Gershon Yabusele. Jordan Clarkson, yeah, I hate his defense and he commits stupid fouls, but every person on this team does. But he can get into a serious rhythm, and you're down 15, and you turn around, and now you're only down 6.
Hmm.
That's Jordan Clarkson. Dom said it when we were talking over the summer about the Jordan Clarkson acquisition. The first thing Dom said was he can get a bucket. That's what he's there for, and that's why he's got one of the highest amount of points as a six man in NBA history, because that man can get off the bench and he could put up 12 points off of 4 threes just like that in a millisecond. So the only guy that can go down for this team is Gershon Yabusele. Anybody else? Dom was saying Deuce, not a chance. Deuce's defense is way better than Tyler Kolek, and Deuce has been shooting the lights out of the ball behind the arc. He cannot get injured. He cannot. He's got to figure
No.
out a way to stay healthy. He cannot go down. Dom, is there anything else you want to say before I touch on Josh Hart and Cat?
As much as we both want Cat out of here for definitely for his play this year and just all the stupid fouls, bad decision making, I think we should have highlighted this way more during the preseason and like during media day. Cat didn't know what his role was going to be entering this season, right? And we're like, all right, that's a little odd. Like he had he was amazing last year, and I know it's a new system, but that shouldn't be the case because he's the number 2 guy on this team. And then you fast forward to December, it still seems like he's lost. He still seems like he's confused or he's just not happy with his role on the team. I mean, I'm not calling it an excuse because no matter what the scheme is with this team, he should still be playing good. But that's also a big concern that your number 2 guy is still not comfortable in this system, or he's just lost, or both. So, maybe Mike Brown just isn't the coach for him, or they gotta change something up on defense or offense. But there's one thing that I do like about Mike Brown when it comes to Cat. All of last regular season, Cat was just shooting threes, and he shoots at a pretty high clip. But once the playoffs came last year, I think he forgot what a three-pointer was, because he was just driving to the hoop, just elbowing people, just, it just looked like poor offense and not trying to move the ball around. He wasn't passing anymore like he was in the regular season. So that's the one thing I do like about Mike Brown, is that he's just letting him go to the cup. Because if he's not going to shoot threes in the playoffs, you might as well just let him continue with that part of his game.
Mhm,
But at the same time, you still need to shoot threes.
mhm.
But I do like him going to the hoop, even if he fails, even if he can't post up a 6 foot guy. I don't care. It's just more practice at this point for him in the playoffs, because I don't know if it's a mental thing or a game plan, but in the playoffs, he just forgets to shoot threes, and whenever he does shoot a three, he doesn't make it.
Right.
So,
I
hey,
agree.
drive to the hoop as much as you want, because if that's what you're gonna do in the playoffs, so be it.
Okay, so I'll touch on that, but the first thing I'll say, and it's regarding Josh Hart. For a bit, I've thought, all right, is this guy really the glue to the team? Could it really be just one guy? But in reality, you look at everything that he does, right? His rebounding, his defense, his scrappiness, his tough play. And to be honest with you, he came back against the Trailblazers, and honestly, he does make a massive difference.
Yeah, it
And
does.
yes, granted, he commits stupid fouls. He tries, if he's not going coast to coast straight to the hoop, he really just has like a mental roadblock and he turns the ball over, has too many turnovers. But at the end of the day, he is a valuable piece to this rotation. And I mean, we saw all the games that he wasn't playing, aside from the Clippers game that they won, which they didn't even look great in that game. Not having Josh Hart in the fold really just kills their offense and defense. It's both sides of the ball. So Josh Hart needs to try to stay healthy. And on top of that, his 3-point shooting, I mean, you can say that his 3-point shooting is the best we've seen him since he's been on the Knicks, his whole entire, stint here. I
Yeah.
mean, his 3-point shooting is fantastic this year.
Mhm.
So with all of that for Josh Hart, he has to try his best to stay healthy because he really is a serious asset to this team. And if he gets hurt, I'm not really sure what this team is going to do to try to fill that void because honestly, they couldn't find it anywhere for the times
Nope.
that he wasn't around. I mean, right now, Josh Hart's 3-point shooting has been a key and sometimes inconsistent part of his game, notably improving to a career best near 40% in recent seasons. So, as of early 2026, he's at a 39.8% 3-point shooting. I mean, I've never personally seen Josh Hart be that close to 40% shooting behind the arc. So, he is a valuable part to this team and he's got to try to stay healthy, and Mike Brown has to deploy him as much as he can. Obviously not overwork him like Tibbs did, but still use him as much as possible. So that's Josh Hart. Regarding Karl-Anthony Towns, Mike Brown said to him recently, cut the shit with arguing about fouls to the refs. Now, he didn't just say it to Cat, he said it to all his veterans. He
Yep.
said it to Brunson. He said it to McHale. Certainly said it to Josh Hart because we know Cat and Josh Hart are notorious for complaining about fouls. But I'm now, and again, here we go, right? I read this last week when we were trying to get the episode done last week. But I am going to read to you, and this was posted 6 days ago, again by New York Basketball. Karl-Anthony Towns stats for the season. This was 6 days ago, and there's no way it's gotten better. 47% field goal shooting, that's lowest of his career. 35.6% from three, lowest in 10 years. 14.5 shots per game, lowest in 8 years. 2.8 assists per game, lowest in 8 years. 0.6 blocks, lowest of his career. 32.5 minutes, lowest in 10 years. The minutes is not as important because this isn't Tibbs and this isn't any of the other coaches that Cat has had. Mike Brown likes to use his full lineup and rotation if he can, kind of like what Diagonal does with OKC. But those numbers, all those other ones that I read, are just awful. They're
Yeah.
not good.
Nope.
And of course, Dom mentioned the Pistons game. Karl-Anthony Towns as Knicks lose by 31 in Detroit. 6 points, 6 turnovers, 1 rebound, minus 27. Dom, 4 shots.
4.
Are you fucking kidding?
And how much money is he making?
$58 million
For 4 shots.
against the Pistons.
I think we deserve that game check.
The most
Man,
important game on the whole entire calendar thus far. And you have 4 shots?
and that's what you do.
Dude, that is unacceptable. I'm going to just pull up his contract just to be sure, but I am very, very confident he's making $58 million this year. Okay, no, he's making 53. He'll be making 58 next year. And then a player option in 2027-28 for over 61 million. I'm sorry, I'm good. I'm not paying that.
I don't want to.
I know you talked about just now driving to the hoop, that he should do that. Dom, if he's going to do it, then he needs to do it when he's on one-on-one. He was doing it for a little bit, for a couple weeks. But now, in these last 7 games, he's going back to try to get through 3 defenders.
Because
I mean,
he won't pass it out. He's just
I
looking
know he
down.
won't.
He's just looking down and elbowing people, and meanwhile, there's 2 guys open at least.
Yeah, he's hooking his arm. And then he complains, how is that an offensive foul? Dipshit, of course it is. OG was doing it too.
Yeah.
He was also hooking his arm on the defender's waist. I mean, I'm not fantastic at basketball, but I did play. Last time I checked, I don't think I can do that.
Nope.
So I don't know what the hell he thinks. And every time he's complaining. And then I even saw he slaps defenders. And then he also slaps offensive players. He does it on both sides of the ball. They're going to get the freaking layup. You're not hitting the ball. You're hitting his hand. You're hitting his arm. You're hitting his elbow. You're hitting everything but the ball. And it's always an N1. I saw a bunch of those. A bunch of those. I was even seeing them in the Trailblazers game because I was watching the game with my family on Sunday night. I'm like, dude, this guy can't defend. It is miraculous. Hands down, I have not seen this bad defensive play since pre-Tibbs. And I'm talking about, what is that, 2018, 2019? What, when Fizdale was the freaking coach? I haven't seen defense this bad in years. And this team is not a great defensive team. And Dom, I'm not sure, and I'm going to check it right now. Do you have any idea what the Knicks defensive rating is? Because it can't be good.
I don't. But against the Knicks against the Suns, I don't think one player put a hand up on Devin Booker. I don't think one player. And I'm surprised we didn't lose by more because they were open so much from 3. For some reason, even with Tibbs or Mike Brown, I don't know what the hell the problem is, if it's the players, if they're too slow or something, but we cannot guard the 3 for our lives. And every single team knows that, and they're just going to chuck up 3s and beat us at our own game.
So
That's what's going to happen.
yeah, I know, I agree with you. No, their 3-point defensive play is terrible. And there's no communication. I mean, when you're watching the Pistons game, the biggest things that we were saying last week when we were trying to record is there's no communication, there's no movement. They can't defend pick and rolls, they can't defend screens. Any type of offensive movement in transition, they're lost. They are flat-footed, they're in quicksand. They all bunch up in the paint, and then there's a bunch of guys wide open for 3. It happens every time. It happens every time. It happens as much time as the refrain in a song. It happens every single time, and I'm sick and tired of it.
I'm
So
sick of it.
the Knicks' defensive rating varies by recent performance. Currently, around 113.2 points allowed per 100 possessions. That's 12th in the NBA for this season as of early January 2026. However, we both just said before Their last 7, 8 games, they've looked terrible. Well, but has seen drops to around 122.5 points allowed per 100 possessions in their last 8 games. That's 28th in the NBA.
And we're a top team in the NBA too, still, and that should not be the case. I'm sure if you look
It,
at OKC or any other of these top teams, we're not near them.
the other thing is too, I know that the Thunder have gotten into a little bit of, a tough stretch. Granted, not that tough. Don't think of it totally that way. Not as tough as the Knicks have had the last 7, 8 games. But now they're putting out there that, oh, maybe OKC isn't the favorite to win. Maybe we should lower the prediction. Listen, every team is going to go through a little bit of a rut. Uh, but the Knicks they're really looking tough. I don't want to be, over exaggerating, for how they've been recently, because you can always turn it around 100%. Right now, the Knicks are 25-14. I'm looking at where they would be in the Eastern Conference. They would be, okay, so they would be fifth. They'd be right behind the T-Wolves for one less win. T-Wolves are 26-14. Fourth, the Lakers are 23-14, fifth. So the Knicks would slot in right there with 2 more wins in the win column than the Lakers. So they would definitely be a lower seed in the Western Conference, but that's not a surprise to us. As we've said before the season even started, the Western Conference is a much bigger gauntlet than what the East even tries to be. So
Yeah.
this team still has a lot to fix, especially on defense. But the wins, the wins have to come with better statistical numbers. They have to come with a better plus minus. They have to come with less turnovers. They're not a huge turnover riddled team, but they're still committing them. And then the fouls. And Mike Brown's trying to tell his players, hey, listen, there are games where you're not going to get a lot of calls. You're just going to have to play through it. Every team does, and he's right. Every team just has to play through it. But the biggest thing right now is defending the three and even defending the paint, because their defense, it just looks incohesive. It looks like a mess. And I don't know what they need to do in practice. I don't know what Mike Brown has to tell them during the game, before the game, after the game. I don't know what kind of scheme he's got to deploy for his players, but something's got to give, because right now, if the season ended today, I can tell you right now, they're out. Who knows? Maybe even the first round, but definitely the
Yeah.
second. I can tell you that. They're definitely out the second round, maybe even the first. Because Dom, if the season ended today, okay, and it's not a surprise, because I said I'll evaluate Mikal Bridges after New Year's Day, and I said Gershon Yabusele has got to show me something by Christmas. That's 2 months into the season. Usually things start to be very transparent 2 months into a basketball season. Right now, they would have to see who wins the 7 and 8 seed playing game, which is the Cavaliers and the Heat.
Yep.
And I can tell you, if the Heat win that game, the
We could be
Knicks may
screwed.
be out in the first round.
Yeah, we could be screwed.
Yeah. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But hopefully Mike Brown figures it out. Dom, anything else you want to say before I move on?
I mean, yeah. I mean, just when it comes to the conference, everything's close. You know, um, the Cavs were red hot at the beginning of the year. Now they're in seventh place, just like that. The Knicks have 25 wins. Celtics have 24 wins. So do the Toronto Raptors. Philly is moving up the ranks a bit somehow. They have 22 wins. Orlando, they were hot. Now they only have 22 wins. Same with Cleveland and Miami. Even though they're 20-19, that record doesn't show it.
No.
They're still a really tough team, even
Yeah,
though they only have their one game over 500. But that doesn't mean a thing, because once playoffs come, those records, they delete themselves and everyone's back to 0-0.
100%. And the last thing I'll say too is the Celtics. Do you know who they just lost to last night?
No.
The Pacers.
Yeah. So
So you can't really tell what anyone is right now. And the Celtics, they were looking at one point, they were above the Knicks only for a day or two. But regardless, they had a better record for a couple of days. But now look, they just lost by 2. I think it was 98-96 to the Pacers last night. So
yeah.
who knows? It's a wild card in the Eastern Conference, but the Western Conference is 10 times better. That's for damn sure. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's everything with the Knicks and the NBA. Now we're going to move on to the NFL. And of course, as we were saying last week, season's over for both teams. Yeah, Dom, stretch it out. I know you like to do that when it comes to the NFL. You can go first. The Giants, they won their last game of the season. They just don't know when to win and when to lose nowadays. Of course, that hurt their draft pick. So now they're picking fifth, not first, not second, not third, not even fourth. They're now picking fifth in the draft. And you tell me what you think they're going to do, and especially who they could possibly acquire as head coach. But I already know what the answer to that one is. But you can go right ahead. Yeah, you can give it a minute. Nice hat
Yeah.
you got on, by the way. If
Yeah, I know.
people are listening to this on Spotify, he's wearing a Giants hat.
I should burn it.
You
But
should.
so everyone knows, I mean, we should have been talking about this a while ago, but due to the technical difficulties, I'm going to have to say a whole rant because I have a lot to say when it comes to New York Giants. I was scared that this was going to happen. After the Raiders game, I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose. I mean, if we win, I wouldn't be surprised if they sit Dak. They sat Dak. You know, they have nothing to lose. Why not? We're a divisional rival. Hey, if they get a worse pick because they win, hey, I'll do that too if I was the Cowboys. Why not? They beat them 34-17. They absolutely crushed them. They finished the season 4-13. They are the stupidest franchise to ever exist in sports. What, like, are you gonna get fined for tanking one game? Meanwhile, all these other teams are tanking and not one penalty has come any of their ways? No, not at all. And if we lost to the Cowboys, we would have had the number one pick because the Raiders also won. We go from number one to number five, just like that.
Mhm.
And if we were the number one pick, we don't need the number one pick. We already have a quarterback. And are we going to get a wide receiver at number one? I doubt it. Are we going to get a corner at number one? I doubt it. A safety? No. A defensive tackle? No. A middle linebacker? No. Those are all things that we do need on this team. But a lot of teams still need quarterbacks. So if we were the number one pick, we could have traded down and got more draft picks or whatever pick that the team we're trading with has and a star player on whatever team that we're trading with. Those are the two options we could have had. Or two picks this year or one pick this year and then another first round pick next year or something like that. Or a ginormous haul depending how stupid the other team is. But that can't happen because now we have the number fifth pick and we need so much on this team. I have no idea what direction they're going to go in. Is it going to be a receiver? Is it going to be a corner? Is it going to be a defensive tackle? A lineman? Who the fuck knows at this point, right? So that's that when it comes to the draft. But speaking of the draft, now Joe Shane is officially back. They said we're going to retain him for next year. Who on God's green earth trusts this man anymore? If
I
you're a
don't know.
Giants fan, or
I
even
don't
if you
know.
just know anything about the NFL, who in the right mind would trust Joe Shane? You know, there is a quote that he said when it came to the end of the year press conference that like every team does.
Mhm.
I got to find it. What he said.
Oh, I'll be talking about mine.
Oh, all
It
right. So
was ridiculous.
this is what he said. He said, and I quote, early on, I made mistakes. I'm fortunate to have a great ownership here where you're allowed to stub your toe and try to course correct. Over the last couple years, we've been able to add a franchise quarterback. You've been able to add a number one wide receiver in Malik Neighbors, so I'm looking forward to getting him back. The defensive line and the pass rushers. Okay, that's it. That's all that you're proud of. And notice, Chris, I don't know if you noticed this, he said the words early on in his career, in his tenure here with the New York Giants. He's already in year 4. So let me ask you, Chris, let me ask you if this was early on, right? The Darius Slayton contract, that was early on. That was last year. The kicking situation, that was been the past 2 years. Not trading Jalen Hyatt last offseason, drafting Evan Neal. What about our run defense? If Dexter Lawrence isn't in the game, we are absolutely cooked. But also, even if he is in the game, he's getting not double teamed, triple teamed. And he's the only threat to our run defense. So if 3 guys are guarding him, no one else is going to get to him. Not one player. And what about not stepping in and firing Shane Bowen, the worst defensive coordinator I've ever seen in my 26 years of life? Or what about not firing Brian Daboll earlier in the season? Because him and Brian Daboll were so buddy-buddy, he didn't have the balls to fire him. The owner had to come in and be like, he's done. And Joe Shane had to go back to Brian Daboll and be like, hey, man, I'm sorry. This wasn't me. This is the owners. Did you lose all of your balls? You
Yes.
lost both of them. You lost both
Yeah.
of them.
Detached, and
Deflated,
thrown into a purse
thrown into the
somewhere.
ocean. Thank you.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
into that shitty-ass river behind MetLife Stadium that probably has 10,000 poison chemicals in it.
Mhm.
I swear, like, how do you trust this guy? I hate to say it. I'm not trying to get a little personal here when it comes to John Mara, but he is not in. I don't think he's in his right mind. He does have cancer, which we all pray and hope that he beats this and gets better really soon. And I hope he does. He is a great person. And he's also getting older as well. I don't think that he's in his right mind, or that he just became so close with Joe Shane that he's afraid to let him go. Also, getting these personal relationships with colleagues is just it's not the right thing to do. He's setting us back. I don't trust him with the number 5th pick. You can say that, oh, but look at who he drafted. Jackson Dart. He only drafted that because Brian Daboll was literally speaking down his throat, saying to draft this guy. That's number 1. So that was mostly Brian Daboll. Number 2, Abdul Carter. Okay, cool. He's a great player. He's going to be way better next year. But you can also say the same thing about Dave Gettleman. He drafted great players. He drafted Dexter Lawrence. So that means shit. That means nothing to me about, oh, he drafted good players, though. Every GM that we've had have drafted great players and horrible players. So throw that out the window. That means nothing. I don't want him here. I want him gone. But there's still a possibility that he could go, because now John Harbaugh, he is a free agent. The Ravens fired him. And if the Giants don't get him, we are going to be set back for another 5 years if we don't get him. Are there other good head coach candidates out there? Yeah. Kevin Stefanski, which, I mean, he is a good coach, but he's had really shitty records over the past few years. Can he develop the quarterback? I mean, I don't really have the highest of confidence in him doing that. I mean, look what happened with Deshaun Watson. Look what's going on with Dylan Gabriel. Look what's going on with Shedeur Sanders. So I don't know, but he does have a good offensive mind. I'll give him that, but I have no clue. Apparently, those are the 2 top candidates. And Chris, I don't know if you've seen this. During the bowl game at Ole Miss, Jackson Dart was there, and one of the assistants at Ole Miss asked him what he thought
Mhm.
about the head coaching situation, and
Yep.
he said, you can see his lips say either Harbaugh or Stefanski. I don't know. I mean, he got caught in 4K with that. I mean, I'm sure all of his agents and the Giants were not happy with that, but they caught him red-handed. So it seems like those are the top 2 candidates. But I don't know. They're interviewing a shit ton of people. They interviewed Raheem Morris. Um, I think they're also going to look at Chris Shula as well. Allegedly, they're going to interview Mike McCarthy, which I swear to God, I will not become a Giants fan again. And I'm going to be talking about I don't even know what team. I guess the Bills because this is New York. I'll be talking about the Bills if they hire Mike McCarthy as a head coach. That's number one. Um, they're gonna interview a whole bunch of people, but it's probably just gonna be smoke. And just because you have to, just to see how everything's gonna go, they're still gonna interview Mike Kafka. But John Harbaugh is clearly the number one answer. He's also looking at other teams as well. He's gonna be interviewed by Atlanta, I think also Miami, and I think also even Tennessee. But I think the Giants are the better fit and
Mhm.
just the better team overall compared to all those teams. But he
Yes.
does have connections with Miami and Tennessee. And
Mhm.
also allegedly, according to like multiple analysts, that he's been watching tape going back and forth between Jackson Dart and Cam Ward,
Mm,
which
mm.
I don't know if
Well,
that's real or not, but a lot of analysts have been saying that. So also the Tish family, they also went to John Harbaugh's house to go talk to him, and they also had dinner. So I don't think it was like a official interview yet, but they're stepping in the water. We'll see how it goes, but I don't think we're a head coach away, which all these analysts are saying. That's not true. Everyone needs to relax on that part. But I can see us going in the right direction if we do hire John Harbaugh, and he hasn't won less than 8 games in years. It's pathetic that like we would be okay with that, but hey, I'll take that if I'm a Giants fan because 3 wins, 4 wins, 2 wins. I'll take anything at this point. But John Harbaugh, we need him.
I would say so. Two things I'm going to say. Have you ever seen Coming to America with Eddie Murphy?
Who hasn't?
So you have.
Yeah.
Great. So John Harbaugh is Hakeem from Coming to America. You bathe him in argon oil, you put rose petals down on the floor, you do whatever the fuck you need to do in order to get this man to New York. He
Yep.
is your Hakeem from Coming to America, and it's not a
N-
joke.
I
I
never
know.
thought I would ever hear a Hakeem comparison to anyone, but that was
Oh,
perfect. That
oh,
was
it's
perfect.
here. Oh, it's here, and it's here full force.
Yep.
He's literally Hakeem from Coming to America for the Giants organization. All those other names you read, I'm going to be honest, I stared out to the trees. I didn't hear a fucking word you said. The only name I want to hear coming out of you or any Giants fan's mouth is John Harbaugh. That's it.
Yep.
You do whatever the hell you need to do to get this guy here. It is it is just I don't know what's the right word. Appalling, blasphemous, preposterous that the Baltimore Ravens fired this man. I don't get it. I really don't. But it is there for the taking. And honestly, if the Mara family, if the Tish family, I know John Mara, he's dealing with his cancer. We obviously, as Dom already has stated, we hope and pray that everything goes well. That is terrible news for him. He is a great man, and he only wants what's best for the Giants, a lot more than Woody Johnson wants for the Jets. So I really do hope that they do the right thing and bring John Harbaugh here and do whatever they got to do. That is number one. Number two, Dom, Joe Douglas drafted a lot of great guys as well. Just like you were saying
Yeah.
with Dave Gettleman, Joe Douglas, he had a fantastic 2022 draft class. Sauce Gardner, but he's gone. But you still have Garrett Wilson. We don't know what's going to happen with Brees Hall. We still have Jermaine Johnson. They picked up his 5th-year option. He'll be back next year. And then, of course, you still have Jeremy Ruckert. I think he's going to be gone. I don't think he'll be back next year. Michael Clemens, hope to the Lord he ain't back. But you did draft the first 4 guys you drafted are top-notch players. It's crazy how Sauce Gardner went from 1-1-7 team to then go to another team and go 1-7 for the rest of the year. I thought that was hilarious when that news came out. But at the end of the day, all GMs have, make or break drafts. They draft great players, but they also draft busts. It happens. But the Giants need to do whatever the heck they need to do to get John Harbaugh here as their full-time coach for next season and beyond. So anything else you have to say, or can I start with the Jets?
So about 50 minutes ago, the Giants have requested to interview Chargers DC Jesse Minter.
Okay.
So that is an great hire as well.
Sure.
When he was with John Harbaugh in Michigan in 2023, they were the number one defense. Last year, they
You
were
mean Jim
also
Harbaugh? You mean Jim Harbaugh?
no, Jim Harbaugh, sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh, he was the number one defense in 2023 with Michigan. First last year in 2024, and this year they were ninth. But as I've been saying, I think we do need a defensive-minded coach. So if those are the numbers that are showing up, I would take it. I know you don't agree with me with the defensive thing, but I I will definitely take that. But then I also forgot to mention that they were going to interview Clint Kubiak, which he's a great offensive mind, and he's probably a top candidate as well. I would choose if I had to pick him or Stefanski. I'm picking Kubiak, but obviously John Harbaugh's number one. But I would definitely, I would definitely look into Jesse Minter as well if they approve the interview.
So let me ask you, if the Giants don't, I mean, after everything they should do to try to get him, if the Giants don't land Jim Harbaugh, who's your number two choice?
I as of right now, I'm probably do Jesse Minter.
That I agree.
I would do
I
Jesse
agree.
Minter if they approve the interview because they requested an interview about 50 minutes ago. Yes, I'm picking him 100%.
That was a head coaching option for the Jets last year, and I mean, they got Aaron Glenn. Obviously, the ties are there. He used to be a Jets player. He played very well as a cornerback for the Jets, but yeah, Minter is a great second option if they can't land John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
So that's the Giants. I'm gonna go on the Jets. I mean, I don't know how much there is to say about the New York Jets as a whole anymore. The first thing I'm going to mention, and I think it's important that I mention it, and I said it obviously last week we were trying to record. Bart Scott said something after the last game of the season that Sunday in the post game for SNY, and it's 100% true. Nobody knows what play like a Jet means anymore.
Nope.
We have no idea. Nobody knows. It used to be all gas, no break when obviously Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas were still at the head of the regime, right? They were here. They're gone. Aaron Glenn made all these promises. He made all these guarantees before the season started. We're going to have less penalties than we've had in recent years in this history. We are going to hold people accountable. Really, the only person you held accountable was Xavier Gipson when you cut him after the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Then you let Isaiah Williams go, but then the guy had, I don't know, a coming out party. He called a fair catch at the 2-yard line. They let him go, and then he came back and he basically, resurrected his short NFL career and had a fantastic season as a special teamer, as a punt and kick returner. Even had a couple of touchdowns that were called back that he should have had. So really, aside from Xavier Gipson, who did you really hold accountable? You didn't hold Justin Fields accountable as the quarterback. You kept on playing him week to week. We knew he sucked. He's inconsistent as hell. So you really should have sat him early. Tyrod Taylor, yeah, he looks like a veteran, but he's always hurt.
Yeah.
So that leads me to say, who's going to be your quarterback next year? Because that also leads me to say that their post-game presser, or not their post-game end of the season presser, I should say, they were saying, the GM Darren Muji was saying, "Oh yeah, no, we're ready to succeed next year." To who? According to who? To you?
See?
To you? You think this team's ready to go next year?
Yeah.
You don't even
Yeah.
have a quarterback.
Yeah. That means I'm ready to go play next year.
Yeah. What the hell are we talking about? That means my cat and Dom's dog are ready to go.
Yep.
Who's ready to succeed next year? Not you, dipshit. Not you. You ain't ready whatsoever. So saying all these things, obviously Aaron Glenn, as he needed to, was accountable and took responsibility for the failures that came with the season. and obviously didn't do enough. And at one point, I thought they were going to be 0-17, hands down. I mean, for a while, me and Don both agreed, I don't know if this team's going to win a game this year because they started out so bad. And really, even with the wins, they didn't look a whole hell of a lot better than the losses. So that's really culminating everything with that. The other big thing before I get into the draft selection, because they're obviously picking second, and I'll talk about that and possible quarterback or what they can do. I'm going to relate the Jets' 15 years of failure and misery for fans. I'm going to relate it to the housing market.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this is what we said last week.
Mhm.
When you put a house on the market, the longer it stays there, the more it depreciates. You could also say that about a car when it leaves the dealership. But you leave a house on the market 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, then it goes to 2 years, then 3. I got news for you. The value of the house, the price that you put it at when you first put it on the market just gets lower and
And
lower
lower
and
and
lower. And on top of that, people don't buy it because the longer it's there, the more people look at each other and say, huh, why the hell's that house still on the market? I saw that house 2 years ago. Why is it still
Yep.
there? There must be something fishy here that people aren't buying the house. Well, that's the New York Jets. So the more you miss the playoffs and the more you look like a dysfunctional organization for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, the more players like Dante Moore, who didn't have a great game, I will say this past weekend, I'll admit, didn't have a great
No, he
game.
didn't.
And immediately people were all over Twitter saying, I don't know if he should I don't know if he should elect himself for the draft. But even Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, I mean, those are really the top 2 guys, honestly, for quarterbacks for this draft. It's not a quarterback heavy draft, as we've said for weeks now. Those players are going to look at the Jets, 15 years of disgrace, and they're going to say, why in the fuck would I wake up every Sunday and go put a Jets uniform on and set myself up for failure and hurt my NFL career for the 4-year rookie contract that I got assigned?
Yep.
Why would they do that? They're going to look at the organization and they're going to say, well, the owner's still there. They almost went 0-17 with the GM and the head coach. And now Connor Hughes was saying, well, it shouldn't have to be said Aaron Glenn's going to be back. No, it does need to be said. Are you kidding? I mean, I don't love Stephen A., but I agree with him. He shouldn't be back next year. Even a couple of the guys on the panel were saying for SNY he shouldn't be back. But they've already confirmed that he's going to be back next year. Bullshit. It does have to be said because he did that bad. And for a defensive player to play cornerback for the Jets and his defense to not have a single interception for the 17 games in a season, being the first NFL team to do that in NFL history, you really think it's a stupid question to ask if he's going to be back next year? I mean, Dom, tell me if I'm losing my mind, please. But I
You're
don't
not.
think I am.
You're not at all.
I,
You
I
know,
mean, what are we talking about here?
it's just crazy to think that, like, every year there's, you know, the top guys. Like, the top guys, they're gonna be the number 1 through 5 in the draft, and they're always gonna go to the shittiest teams because of their record, obviously. And then all the analysts are like, "Oh, no, this guy, he shouldn't go." Like, "Oh, I think he's actually not gonna go to that team. I think he's either gonna go back to college or decline to go to that team." And it never happens. The scary thing is that could happen this year with the
Hmm.
Jets.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not even trying to I'm not trying to overreact to this or
no,
whatever. I think it's an actual fact that this could happen.
yeah, it could. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go back to school? Your dad looks at you or your mom, whoever, and says, "Oh, you're going to elect for the draft." Well, based off of the pick selections and where you're ranked, you're going to go to the New York Jets. I'm going to be happy about that, knowing that
Nope.
you still have the same bum ass owner who just cares about collecting a check and just taking, basically not taking, stealing money
Stealing.
from fans for season ticket holders. I'm going to go to that organization. And Garrett Wilson reacting the way he reacted to Stephen A. Garrett, I respect you trying to defend the organization, but pal, buddy,
You're making it worse.
you've been part of it now for what? 3 seasons, 2022, 3, 4, 5, for 4 seasons. You've been part of the team. You're not a newbie anymore. You're now on to a brand new contract that's not a rookie deal. So the facts are the facts. They're there. And you also got hurt and didn't play the last half portion of the season. So I don't know what you're opening your mouth about because this is all true. I'm going to read this, Tom. I saved this on Instagram. This is from BR Gridiron, okay, and Bleacher Report. This is obviously Bleacher Report's, both of their accounts. Okay, the caption is the Jets haven't seen the playoffs in 15 years, obviously. This guy on Twitter, Jordan Moore, he wrote, the Patriots went to 5 Super Bowls, won 3 of them, lost Tom Brady, drafted a bust, rebuilt a team, drafted another franchise QB in Drake May, and won a playoff game at home. In 15 years.
15 years.
And the Jets haven't sniffed the playoffs,
I saw
aside
that.
from one season that was 2015.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's just can't
I
make
at
it
this
up.
point, you can't make it up. And not, no, you can't. At this point, I'm about to watch the Jets' last playoff appearance in black and white. At this point,
Yeah.
I don't want to rewatch the same AFC divisional game against Tom Brady back in 2011. I don't want to watch it anymore. It's thought out. It's got mold on it. It smells. You got to give me a fresh playoff highlight. And I don't know when it's coming. It's not coming next year.
I have no idea.
And honestly, if I'm the Jets going into the draft, I have the number 2 pick. I mean, you still have to wait on what Dante Moore decides on. If I were him, I'm going back to school. I'm just putting it right there. But if I'm the Jets, I'm trading back what the Giants could have done if they just knew how to lose. I would trade my pick and I would collect more picks to fortify. You got a lot of options here. If you don't bring back Brees Hall, you got running back, a wide receiver 2, a middle linebacker, Jamie and Sherwood. You cannot have him play middle linebacker as the Mike anymore. He is fucking dreadful. You need a cornerback because now you don't have Sauce Gardner and your other cornerback is pretty bad. Right, Brandon Stevens. He's that's like the Darius Slayton signing, Dom. As bad as that. You don't have a safety. You got a lot of things to pick from. I mean, I'll even read ESPN. They say here biggest needs for the Jets: QB, offensive line, which I don't know. I mean, I guess they're saying because of Elijah Vera Tucker, cornerback, wide receiver, defensive line. But you could even throw in safety and middle linebacker there. So if I were the Jets and Dante Moore decides to go back to school, I'm taking that pick. I'm trading it to get more picks to fortify offense and defense as much as you can. And that's what I would do
And
because there's no shot you can use your number 2 pick on one player right now. You just have, if it's not a QB, you just have too many holes. You got way too many.
and the thing is, now you guys are gonna be stuck because with Brees Hall, it's either you're gonna have to overpay him
Hmm.
or just let him go.
Correct.
You're gonna have to overpay him a shit ton.
Well, you could thank Darren Muji for that. He should have. People were screaming to extend him over the summer, and he didn't do it. So that's officially Darren Muji's fault.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's everything I could say about the Jets. Obviously, the end of the season presser, it's a bunch of nonsense. I don't even care what they have to say. Aaron Glenn coming back is already a failure, and it's only January 13th. So the Jets are just going to be another losing franchise again next season, and then we'll see what happens with the next draft. And I don't know, maybe it'll be the next draft and the next draft and the next draft, and I'll just be watching, their last playoff appearance in black and white. Who knows? I don't know at this rate. So that's everything I have to say on that. Now we're going to move on to the MLB. Dom, you can kick it off with the Yankees. I don't remember the last time I've seen the Yankees be this quiet and hidden in a winter off season. I think my whole entire life, but you can start.
Um, man, I was very passionate about what I was saying last week when the episode wouldn't go through. But now new things have come out, and honestly, now I'm just exhausted when it comes to New York Yankees. If you can describe one word about this offseason, it's been exhausting.
Mhm.
Absolutely exhausting. It seems like if this is what it feels like. It feels like Brian Cashman and Steinbrenner, they're pulling a prank on us. That's what it feels like. It feels like this is just a whole big prank. And then maybe tomorrow or maybe later today, that this one ginormous player is coming and has been signed this entire time or been traded this entire time, but they waited weeks until they revealed it. That's what it feels like. But obviously, that's not going to happen. So,
Mm.
so when it comes to the Yankees, there's a lot of talking and eyeing and possibility. Nothing is even set in stone, right? And when it comes to the Yankees, I don't really trust many sources or analysts, but one source that I do trust is Jack Curry. Jack Curry, this is what he said about future moves. He said that Cody Bellinger, there's clearly a gap, but then also it came out, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, that they're expecting Cody Bellinger to sign somewhere else. That's an article that came out, I think, a day or two ago. But I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's sort of smoke. I think they're just trying to gain more leverage in when it comes to the media, just so Scott Boras can try and come to an agreement either with the Yankees or another team. So I'm not sure how that's gonna go. We were trying to get Edward Cabrera, but he got traded to the Cubs for a
Mhm.
number one prospect. And Jack Curry even said before he got traded, he said nothing is imminent. And then with Bo Bichette, he said unlikely. He says the team continues to work on Bellinger and trades for starting pitchers. Freddie Peralta, Mackenzie Gore, etc., etc. And I think now, because now Alex Bregman, he's signed for 5 years, 175 million to the Cubs. So that's not an option. I didn't think that was likely, but it would have been nice to get him. Jazz Chisholm, they signed him 1 year for due to arbitration purposes, so they're not going to trade him. Bellinger, if it's smoke or not, there's clearly been something going on either with the money or the years. But I think it's both actually because reports have been saying that he wants at least 30 million a year and that the Yankees they wanted to give him 5 years, 155 or 165 million, but now Scott Boras wants 7 years, which is pretty insane.
Mm.
So 30 million for 7 years, that's 210 million. I mean, are you going to give Cody Bellinger that? I don't. Me personally, I wouldn't. Honestly, I don't think 5 years is bad at all. I think that's a great deal. But
I think it's great. I don't think it's bad at all either.
Scott Boras, for some reason, I don't know, he's just pushy and he thinks he can get whatever he wants. But I think he's also ruining market for players. But that's another topic for a different day. So, with all that in mind, that doesn't happen. Cody Bellinger, I don't know what the hell's going to happen to him.
Mm.
Edward Cabrera, we should have been more aggressive. Same with Alex Bregman. And Kyle Tucker, it doesn't even seem like the Yankees are even looking at him, even though they should, because the Mets are going to go for him, the Dodgers are going to go for him, and the Blue Jays. So,
Mhm.
and these are all rival teams. But one last thing I want to say is about these international signings
Mhm.
that didn't happen. Tetsuya Amai, we had zero excuse. I said this last episode. We had zero excuse to not sign this guy. And you know what happened? He signed with the Astros. 3 years, 54 million. And that could go up to 63 million.
Mhm.
If Hal's saying he's so cheap, what, you can't even afford that? I mean, you can clearly afford that because Marcus Stroman, he's earned 37 million in 2 years. That's the same thing. And according to Jack Curry, they had zero interest at all in him. Not a lick of interest. I don't care what league you're in, what professional league you're in I don't know, Puerto Rico, DR, MLB, or Japan, if you're posting a 1.92 ERA, that's pretty incredible. No matter where the fuck you're playing. Why aren't you doing anything you can to get this guy? And the fact that he only signed for that much, no excuse. No excuse. Hal is just an embarrassment. Just a big embarrassment, and his father is rolling in his grave. Brian Cashman, an embarrassment too. He should have been gone years ago. I mean, Aaron Boone, he's just a puppet at this point because he doesn't have any say in this. They probably, Cashman and him probably don't even talk in the offseason. That's how bad it is. So now you don't sign him, and now he goes to a rival in the AL, in the Houston Astros. Perfect, right? Absolutely perfect. And then another guy from Japan, Kazuma Akamoto, who played first and third. He's a great player. He's good offensively and defensively. He's more of a contact hitter instead of power. Had great numbers. He signed to the division rival, the Toronto Blue Jays, for 4 years, $60 million. What kind of deals are these? These are steals that they're getting, that these teams are getting. Absolute steals. And I was thinking to myself, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? Why is there no interest? Why is there not even an offer down? Why is there no visits? Not even visits to these teams. Like, there has to be something, right? And there actually is a reason for this. Things that people haven't been talking about. So, November 3rd of 2025, the Yankees didn't resign the contract of Danny Roland, who has served as the director of international scouting since 2010. That was no news. No one said a word about it. I think I found an article, maybe two about it, and that's it. Not even tweets were talking about this guy. But then on January 3rd, 2026, the Yankees fired Edgar Mateo, assistant to the director of international signings. This was according to Wilbur Sanchez. Then that blew up. This is something that went under the radar when it came to Danny Roland for 2 months. And now it's coming to light because of this firing when it comes to the assistant. But now, still to this day, we have no director of international signings or international scouts. We do not have an international scout on this team. I think that's fair to say the reason why we're not signing these players. So it goes from the top to bottom. We have a shitty owner, a shitty general manager, a shitty manager, and now a shitty scouting department. I mean, I'm sure agents know more about that than the casual fan. And hey, thinking about it now, if I'm a player, why the fuck would I want to come here? The only thing that we have is our legacy.
Yep.
And that's at this point is getting outdated because
Yep.
we haven't won since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
The 27 championship shit means nothing. That's just getting prehistoric.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
from top to bottom, we are shit and we are cheap, even though we are one of the richest sports franchises in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And last thing I'll say is the Yankees are looking in at Bo Bichette. Does it make sense? It could. The only reason why it could make sense if Jazz Chisholm goes to third and either Bichette goes to short or second, but it's more likely that he's going to go to second because for some reason Anthony Volpe is an absolute god, according to the Yankees, and they won't move him. I honestly think he'd be better at second. That's just my personal opinion. He doesn't have the strongest of arm, and he also just struggles in the field in general. I think the Yankees paid the award people for the Golden Glove last year. I don't know how the fuck he got a Golden Glove in his rookie year. He
I
did
don't
not
know.
deserve it at all. I think someone
No.
paid them. I don't get it. I think he would
Um,
be better off at second base, but they're not gonna move him. So if Bo Bichette wants to play second, hey, come to New York.
I'll just say anything that is reported saying, "Oh, the Yankees are looking into it," is just
Bullshit.
typing something and just putting it out there to make the fans happy. So I hate when that shit happens.
Absolute bullshit.
What I'm going to say right now regarding the Yankees and what I think needs to happen, unfortunately, Yankee fans may not want to hear this, but I think the only way that Hal Steinbrenner is going to act the way that his father acted years ago, two, maybe three things. Number one, the Yankees have to have at least 3 years of failure, at least, for them to actually look to, okay, maybe it's time to make a change at GM, maybe get aggressive in the winter. Secondly, they're going to have to lose a certain amount of revenue so that they see that, wow, whatever we're putting on the field and whatever we're doing in the winter offseason, the fans don't like and they're not really showing up as much. And the third one, I was a little hesitant to say this, but you know what? Fuck it, we ball. I'm just going to say it. Aaron Judge needs to be gone. And I'm not saying they have to trade him. I'm saying until the day comes that he gets old, because he's 34 years old, he gets old and he's not there, and they don't have a face of the organization, then Hal Steinbrenner will actually look to get somebody and actually improve the team. Because I personally think that Hal Steinbrenner is holding his hat way too much on Aaron Judge. Way too much. He feels like he doesn't have to do much because Aaron Judge will figure it out like he's Shohei Ohtani and he hits and pitches. I just don't understand. The whole Aaron Judge nonsense of, oh, he's going to save the day. Man never saved the day in the playoffs, let alone save the day in the regular season for your organization. So until that, which Aaron Judge is 34, but he could still play for another 2, 3 years. So that lines up with me saying the Yankees would have to be a bit unsuccessful and lose some revenue in 3 to 4 years for Hal Steinbrenner to finally say, you know what I've been putting out for the fans is not working and it's going to shit. That is, I think, the only way Hal Steinbrenner is going to look at the GM and say, I got to get a new GM. And I actually have to have a different blueprint and plan for the Yankees to be back to what their legacy means. And that's winning, getting far in the playoffs, and winning a championship.
N no, like, whoa, was not expecting that, but
Sorry.
that's I don't agree with that at all. Um, it is it's the GM's fault. It's Brian Cashman's fault. You wanna know why? Aaron
Okay.
Hicks, DJ LeMahieu, Marcus Stroman. I won't say Aaron Judge's name. I'll say Giancarlo Stanton's name because what this is just a repeat of the A-Rod contract. That's what it is. We couldn't we can't get these guys because of poor contracts that we have, and we gotta pay all this dead money. And then also not bringing up minor league players at the right time or not playing them enough.
So are you, hold on. So I'm trying to understand this. Are you saying that it's long overdue that Hal should have gotten a new GM? That these
Absolutely.
things that I just said don't have to happen?
It
It
wouldn't have
just
happened.
it needed to be that he just needed to get a new GM this all along. So what I said is what to you, like, completely false, or it's just a moot point because he should have got a new GM already?
Well, because you're talking about also you brought up Otani's name and about Aaron Judge saving the day.
Yeah.
Not one player can save the day,
But Dom, that's how they're seeing it.
but that's not how it should be.
I understand that, but they ain't picking anybody up, are they? They're not acquiring anybody.
It's because of Hal and Cashman.
Right. But I'm saying I think they have to fail the next 2, 3 years for them to actually, like, they got to start. I hate to say it. The Yankees got to lose some money here and they got to start failing. And Aaron Judge is only getting older. He's not getting younger. And I think until that day comes where he's like, hey, either he goes to them or he like retires or he really shows serious decline in play. Unless he does that, I don't know. The Yankees front office is gonna still think that Aaron Judge, they got the face of the franchise. They're making money. They're doing just enough to get in, and they think they don't have to do much for the winner. But until they actually understand that, hey, he's declining, he's getting old. Maybe the fans aren't accepting what they're putting out there. Until that happens, I don't know. They don't have serious structure right now.
They don't, but you're saying about Aaron Judge that you think that it's possible that he should go.
No, no, no. I said don't trade him. You can't trade him. Who the fuck do you have if you
No.
trade him? No, 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 not trade him. I'm saying he's going to start declining. He's 34 years old. So he's going to start declining, but I think it's going to take him for him to decline and then finally get too old where they can't rely on him and say he retires. I think that's what it's going to take for them to lose money, not be successful, and then Hal Steinbrenner decides maybe I got to get a new GM because this guy hasn't acquired anybody to take the big face of the organization in place of Aaron Judge and look to help around him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I took that a different way. That's my
Clearly.
bad,
Yeah.
but that could be the case. You know, that if that seems like a option.
No,
That
you can't
definitely
trade
seems
him.
like a
You
option. You
can't
can't
trade him.
trade him.
No.
You can't also, I mean, I think his contract is 270 or 280. That's like nothing
Well,
compared to
it's
what he
9
should
years,
be having.
360. He signed 9 years, 360 the summer of 2020, well, the winter of 2022. So,
That's still nothing.
it's
That's
40 a
still
year.
nothing of what he should be getting. But
Yeah.
the Yankees they're just lost. They are completely lost and no one has faith. No one thinks they're even going to do anything. All right, even if they get one good pitcher, like let's say Freddie Peralta, we still need way more than that, or re-signing Bellinger. We still need more than that. I mean, I don't, for some reason he's obsessed with righty hitters. What, just Bo Bichette? That's it? It's not enough.
No.
It's not enough unless Anthony Volpe this entire time, he was hurt. I mean, allegedly he was hurt all year last year. I mean, unless he becomes Derek Jeter, then then we're screwed. So,
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, I'm gonna touch on the Mets, Dom, if you're good on the Yankees.
yeah.
All right. So, for the Mets, not really much going on, but I saved a bunch of stuff, in terms of, bookmarking things on Twitter. So, obviously, everything right now is about Kyle Tucker. That's just, the big name that's really left. Alex Bregman signed his 5-year 175 with the Cubs. So, obviously MLB Network, I'll play this after I say other things. They obviously gave their analysis and answer on which destination would make the most sense for Kyle Tucker. Looking at the Mets lineup, if they got Kyle Tucker, Francisco Lindor, Marcus Semien, Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker, I guess that would be Soto's protection. Mark Vientos, Jorge Polanco, Brett Beatty, Francisco Alvarez, and one of either or maybe platoon job of Carson Bench and Tyrone Taylor batting ninth. So right now, okay, I'm gonna read what I'm seeing here in terms of a contract for Kyle Tucker, and then I'll give my predicted contract. John Mincone came out that he has a source that the Mets have an offer on the table to Kyle Tucker at 50 million AAV, looking to have a decision made between Mets, Blue Jays, and Dodgers in the next day or two. That came out 3 hours ago. Don't know if that's legit. I mean, John Mincone is very active on Twitter, especially during the baseball season. Underdog MLB, Mets are in the 120 to 140 million dollar range over 3 years for Kyle Tucker per Will Salmon. A decision from Tucker could come as early as this week. So obviously the Mets don't want to go long term with him, but no shocker there. I mean, look who runs the front office in David Stearns. So there's that. Uh, I got to tell you right now, the contract that I would give Kyle Tucker is for 6 years, $210. I would not touch 40 million. I am certainly not going 45, 50. I would give him $35 million a year at 6 years. I think that's a good year point of not being too short, but not being too long. And I just think that's the most fair. I saw a baseball night in New York on SNY. I saw Danny Wexelman given like 6 years, 240, no good. I saw Anthony McCarron giving, what was it, 4 years, 180. I was like, dude, what? That was way too much. I did see John Harper only giving like 6 years, 186. I mean, that was 31 a year. I could understand that one. That was actually reasonable.
Yeah, it
And
sounds
then I saw Sal Licata give, I have to rewatch it. I just know I saw 7 years and I immediately looked the other way. I was like, I know it's only 1 year over what I predicted, but I just think that's 1 year too many.
yeah.
But I'm actually going to try to look to see what Sal Licata's full contract prediction is, or what he thinks, what would be the right contract offer for Kyle Tucker. But Dom, give me your personal contract proposal that you would give for Kyle Tucker.
Well, the beginning of the offseason, he was expecting 10 or 11 years. And then over the past week or two, now analysts have saying that he might have to go for a lower deal just on years. I would give him, I'd agree with you, honestly. 210 million for 5 years,
6 years.
6 years. That's more than enough.
Yeah.
That's more than enough. And also, let's say, let's say like you were able to give him more years. Could you even? Because of Juan Soto? I don't even think you guys would be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
Are you talking about payroll or are you talking about like positioning in terms of playing the outfield?
payroll.
Which one? Payroll. Yeah, I thought so. I was just clarifying.
So yeah, like when it comes to payroll, I don't even think you can even give him more than that. So you may have no choice to give him either 5 or 6.
Right.
And I mean, no one's budging. No one's budging with him. The Dodgers, they're looking at him. The Blue Jays, he actually visited their spring training facility a couple weeks, maybe a month back. So that's real interest, but there hasn't been any numbers revealed. So no one's budging for that. No one's budging for all those years for him, even though that he's, what is he, 29, 30, something like that.
Right.
So if you're 30,
Yeah.
you're not going to get these contracts that you're hoping for in 7+ years. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, he's turning 29 on the 17th. So what is that? This upcoming Saturday? Yeah.
Yeah,
So on
20.
Saturday he turns 29. So I already know the Mets are probably trying for 3, max 4 years on a deal. They don't even want to touch 5, but here we go again. And I've said this so many times, I will say it again. David Stearns was not the reason that Juan Soto got acquired. That was all Steve Cohen. And David Stearns doesn't like long-term deals with pitchers. He's certainly not going to like it with hitters as well. He just doesn't like them in general. And I think he's trying to go for 3, 4 years on a contract with Kyle Tucker. So what I will read here, and then I'm going to play what MLB Network says for who they think is the best fit for Kyle Tucker, which team. This was from Sleeper Mets, another great account I follow. The Mets have an advantage in the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes. David Stearns was the Astros assistant GM when Tucker was drafted in 2015. Mets hitting coach Troy Snitker served as Tucker's coach from 2019 to 2024. Mets scouting VP Chris Gross was there for Tucker's development in Houston. Jeff Albert, the Mets' other hitting coach, coached Tucker in the Astros minor league system 2015 to 2018. So that is true. That is some good advantageous statements there, but we'll see if that helps at all. At the end of the day, I mean, let's call it a spade a spade. At the end of the day, it comes down to money, and it comes
Yep.
down to it comes down to the amount of years that you're looking to give the player. And he obviously, every player wants security. They want a blanket. They want to know that, okay, I'm going to be here for more than a few years. And I don't know if the Mets are going to go to those lengths, but we shall see. I mean, it's reported that maybe he'll let us know right before his 29th birthday, or maybe then. Imagine if he tells everybody on his 29th birthday who he picks. That would be That'd be something special for him for him personally. But we'll see when he chooses that. But this is what MLB Network said. This is about a 2.5 minute clip. But this is what they say. Which of these destinations would make most sense for Kyle Tucker? Blue Jays, Dodgers, or Mets? MLB Network Hot Stove discusses three of the reported teams involved in the Tucker sweepstakes.
Let me ask you this. Of the three teams that Jim DeKepp points out there, confirmed by a league official that they're in negotiations, Toronto, LA, New York, what feels right for you? Forget about the money, the years of service. From a baseball perspective.
Toronto.
Okay.
Feels right. I think he fits in Toronto. I'm just, and I haven't spent enough time with Kyle. I just feel personality-wise, after being around that Blue Jay team this World Series run, he fits right in. And,
Yeah, I mean,
I can see the same thing with the Dodgers. Only problem is, I think the fan base in LA is going to expect so much from him.
And don't you want Addison Barger with a full 600 plate appearances this year? I do.
Absolutely.
And then what do you do with Santander? This is what it would look like in LA.
I mean, he's a perfect fit for the Dodgers, believe it or not.
Sure is.
Perfect fit.
But here's where I think he fits the best. It's the New York Mets. And I've been saying this since the start of the offseason. I feel like they need that protection component behind Juan Soto.
I agree.
You know, Mark Vientos is going to get every opportunity to play at first base.
The Mets at this point in time will pay the most money because they have to.
Right.
They have to. They overpaid for Soto. They have to go get the guy you're talking about to protect Soto. And I don't know who else is out there on the market right now.
I think the need is greatest with the Mets.
Well, Bichette ends up being a Met. Hello.
Where's he going to play? Third? You going to
Okay, you lost me there.
Pretty wild.
Listen, I think they both have good points. It would really hurt for the Yankees if Kyle Tucker went to Toronto, but the Mets have no choice. And I meant to say this in the beginning of my rant, but I honestly forgot. Good thing I just played this video. The Mets put themselves in a position where now they have no choice but to overpay.
Yep.
You don't have another option. It's either Kyle Tucker in left field or Carson Bench in left and Tyrone frickin' Taylor in center field, who can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. So you don't have a choice now but to overpay. And honestly, Dom, I'm going to go back now to, I was just looking at the freaking lineups for both Toronto and for Toronto and the LA Dodgers. Also, it just got reported here. This just came out 3 minutes ago. Well, really, it came out 21 minutes ago from MLB Network. The D-backs are reportedly acquiring Nolan Arenado in a trade with the Cardinals.
Wow.
So Nolan Arenado is going to Arizona. That's interesting. Okay. And that was reported by Katie Wu. She was on it first. All right. So he goes there. But just wanted to throw that out there. I thought that was an interesting one. Had to say it. Just came out. But looking at the lineups, you know what I'm even going to do? I could even play this.
The three teams that
So let's see. Okay. Toronto Blue Jays, George Springer, Kyle Tucker, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Santander or Barger. They'll maybe share the load. Alejandro Kirk, Dalton Varsho, Kazuma Akamoto, Ernie Clement, and Andres Jimenez. Of course, the guy that got traded to the Blue Jays from the Mets when they did the Francisco Lindor trade. And then, let's just see here. I'm going to honestly silence this video. Just see if I could find. So that's the Mets. Let me see if I can try to bring it back to the Dodgers. Here it is. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Kyle Tucker, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy, Tommy Edman, Andy Paez. That'd be just an unfair lineup. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that is
So
insane.
let's hope he doesn't go to LA. Lord knows LA needs more help. So, yeah, the Mets have put themselves in a situation where they have to overpay, and they need Kyle Tucker because they don't have a legitimate left fielder. And if they don't get Kyle Tucker, they would have to then move to Cody Bellinger. And if they don't get Cody Bellinger, then they're gonna have to put Carson Bench there. And Cody, I'm sorry, but Cody Bellinger ain't Kyle Tucker, at least hitting wise. Defensively, Cody Bellinger is much better than Kyle Tucker. And
Yeah.
I know that David Stearns has been harping on run prevention, but last time I checked, you have to score in order to win. So if you don't have a guy who can protect Juan Soto's going to be walking 150 times next season. So that's the last thing I'll say on that. They got to figure something out. They got to acquire somebody. But the Mets, this is where they're at pitching wise. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. I think they still have to trade. They got to look somewhere for that. Their rotation is looking pretty bad as of right now. So again, just like the Yankees, they need all the help they can get in every area, but especially pitching, because the Mets pitching rotation, I don't know, it's not looking too hot. But that's everything I'll say with the Mets. Dom, anything you want to say before I wrap up today's episode?
Did you s did you see this? What
Mm,
Will Salmon said
no, what?
56 minutes ago. Mets are in the 120 to $140 million
I did say
range.
that already. Yep.
Yeah, right? Yeah, he did say
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah, I
just
did.
I
Yeah.
just saw that. And then 1 hour ago, according to Jim Bowden, Cody Bellinger is looking for a 7 to 8-year deal in the range of 210 to 250 million. This is coming from industry sources and has not been confirmed by clubs or the Boras Corporation.
Yeah. Tell him I said good luck.
Yeah, literally, good luck. If
Good
that's what
luck
he's
with
looking
that, buddy.
for, he can go somewhere else if that's what he's looking for. 5
The, he ain't going to the Mets. Don't
maybe
worry. Mets ain't
5
paying that shit.
5 years or 6 years with 1-year team option, I'll take that. But 7, no way, and all that money, no shot.
No, absolutely not. Anything else you have to say before I wrap up?
It's all good.
All right. Well, for me, I have a few things actually I want to say. So this was yesterday. Veteran QB Bailey Zappi is signing a futures deal with the Jets. So yeah, that does nothing for me. Moving on. I mean, that is just like great. So we're content with losing, I guess. That's awesome. This is from NBA Central. The New York Knicks are a dark horse team for John Morant. So
No, I
that's
just saw that.
interesting. Imagine that.
That's not happening.
No, I mean, of course not. I don't definitely don't see it happening.
Thought that was
Oh,
sent out.
yeah, dude, the people did. Somebody even wrote, I thought that was Centel until I saw the source. The Raptors are willing to package their first round pick with Emmanuel Quigley for a win now move. I mean, that would be imagine if you went to one of the other Eastern Conference teams, say like, I don't know, Miami Heat or
Would
I
you
mean, I
want him
don't
back?
would I want him back? The Knicks can't. I don't think they can do it, honestly. I mean, who would they give up for a win now? Giving up for a win now move for the Raptors on a player that would help them be win now and then just get Quigley back? No, I don't. And the Knicks don't really have a lot of picks to play with anymore anyway. I don't
Yeah,
know. That would be a little tough for them, unfortunately. I would love to have him back. You kidding
me
me?
too. I would love to have him back.
Great. The Knicks have made Gershon Yabusele available in trade talks. That's not surprising. The Knicks entered Sunday's play at 6-7 since defeating San Antonio in the December 16th Cup final in Vegas. League sources say that Gershon Yabusele and Pacome Dadier are available before the February 5th trade deadline and potentially set the Knicks up to do some minor tweaking. I just saw a video. Cat is pissed he got benched, and somebody commented, and I agree. I'm pissed he is still on the team. Terrible IQ and no defense. I mean, it's true. Sorry about that. And the last thing I'll say, and it's regarding the Jets, people are trying to put out mock trades, trade predictions, trade proposals, whatever you want to say it, for Justin Herbert. Folks, did you watch the game over the weekend? Have you watched his playoff appearances throughout his career?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Are you blind? Are you blind?
Yes.
Clearly they are. I'm
Yes,
not
yeah.
trading for Justin Herbert. It's not happening. The,
Is it way better than what you have? Yeah, no shit, but what
yeah,
what does
but
that mean? What does that
what does
mean?
that
Like,
mean? We're
It means
just gonna
nothing.
get someone just to make the playoffs? We're not gonna get someone to make the playoffs and win a Super Bowl? I mean, for crying out loud, a bunch of my cousins weren't even born, and they're, 40, 50 years old, and they weren't even born by last time the Jets won the Super Bowl. I mean, a polymarket football. Jets receive QB Justin Herbert. Chargers receive this upcoming draft, first round pick, second overall, first round pick, 16th overall, and 2027 first round pick from the Colts that they got with the Sauce Gardner trade. No thanks. No,
No.
don't want
Nope.
it. Don't want it. So that's everything from me, Dom. Anything else before I totally wrap it up?
I honestly said everything that I had to say. It felt good to finally say something after a week or two, whatever the fuck it was. But yeah, I'm glad we're back. Hopefully all these technical issues are over with, and we still got a lot to do. We still have a lot of stuff to do. Hopefully we can drop some merchandise and bring guests on, and it's been looking good. We're getting our followers and subscribers up little by little, but gotta start somewhere. And I'm just excited for this year, honestly. Just
Yeah,
excited for this year. We're already, I don't even know how many months, 6, 7 months that we're into this now, and it's only getting better. So I'm excited for the future.
absolutely. So as am I. There's always room for improvement. We're
Yeah.
still fairly new to this stuff. Listen, you're gonna go through adversity. There are just gonna be some things that don't go your way. They don't go as planned. You gotta get through the bumps. You got to overcome obstacles. And we even had one last week. We were obviously very annoyed that we couldn't put the episode out there. But listen, you get through it, you figure it out, and you see what needs to be done. And these aren't losses; these are lessons. So
Yep.
this is just how it is, and you learn from your mistakes, and you try to get better. And really making mistakes and things going wrong is the only way you learn in this world, anyway. So
I
that's
agree.
really it for me. Dom, you're good.
All good, man.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you to everyone for tuning into today's episode of the FPV podcast on either YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Be sure to like this episode and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss any of our shows. See you folks on Tuesday. Peace.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.